Hello everyone, I'm back with another bullet journaling video, this time to share how I plan for the month of January. As usual, I have prepared all my spreads on Procreate beforehand. It's such a good way to test out new ideas and organise my thoughts before I put pen to paper. This video should be rather short as my spreads aren't too involved, there aren't any doodles as you can see, and my monthlies tend to be fairly light since I do a lot of tracking already in the yearly part of my journal, which you may have seen in my previous video. So let's start with the cover. I always have a small illustration in the centre of the page and a small calendar. This month I start by delimiting the bottom of a box using washi tape, and I highly recommend taping the washi to your hand beforehand or your clothes so you avoid any ripping of the page when you take it off later on. And this month I'm only going to use 4 colours for the whole month, 2 greys, a light beige and a fair pink, and these should go rather well together. For the illustration, I create brush strokes with each colour to create sort of a mountainous landscape. I start on the washi tape and stretch the colour upward with a light hand. The colours overlap to create more dimension. With the pen tip of the brush, I then add plus signs to create sort of a starry sky to the upper part of the illustration. I should mention that unfortunately the image is going to be slightly out of focus throughout the video. I had the camera on autofocus and it was focusing fine when I looked through the viewfinder, but of course as soon as my hand got in the frame the focus shifted to it, and unfortunately that happens to be a few centimetres above the page where the focus should be. You can't read the small characters like the calendar, but I hope you can still see enough. I'll know to use manual focus next time though. I fill in a calendar at the bottom right corner of the page, and as you may have seen I referred back to my future log for it where I have all the monthly calendars for the year. Around the calendar I created a dashed border in which I mixed all 4 colours randomly. Now comes the best part. You can remove the washi tape and discover the illustration that you created. I finished the cover by removing all the pencil marks with an eraser and then writing the month of January across the illustration. I start with a pencil test run to make sure the placement of the word is correct, and then I go in with the Signo broad black gel pen for the final title. And you can see I take my time separating each stroke to really have nice lines. Then comes the monthly spread. The one I use is quite close to the Canon version from the bullet journal method, and is one I haven't changed in almost 4 years. On the left side I have my master to-do list or goal setting page. I always start with the title to do in, and then the month of the month I'm writing for. And then I separate out 2 sections, one for personal items and another one for professional items. And every month I will change slightly the style in which I create this layout, but like I said, the main structure remains the same. On the right side I have a vertical calendar font that I use to log in events and also to track habits. Later on I will draw some very tiny 1 square icons for each of the 9 habits that I tracked, but some of those are rather personal, and so I decided to do that off camera. But you can see I used the same font for habits and events as I did for January, just to create a more cohesive 2-page spread. I really like the font that I created for the title. It's rather easy to do but creates a really striking result, and I think I'll be using it much more in the future. I think I got a bit carried away. I forgot to write in the numbers for the calendar, so I'm just adding those right now. And I just separate each week with a small dash between the numbers of Sunday and Monday. This next spread is really one of my favourites. It's things I'm enjoying. It used to be a 2-pager complete with bars, restaurants, shops, etc. But in the current context, I've reduced it to just 1 page tracking music, books, articles, YouTube channels I like and consume during the month. For the title, again, it's something really simple to achieve. I'm using the dots as guides. Each letter should fit within a 2x3 rectangle. The square at the beginning of the line is a 3x3 and I coloured it in with the Tombow. All of this is done using block letters. It is really easy to achieve but creates a nice look once you add in the final detail of circling around the block letters using the pen tip of the Tombow. I usually divide the space in 4 boxes, but this month I decided to shake things up and went with diagonal sections. And you can see my lines aren't quite straight because the trick to making straight lines is to look at the destination points where you're supposed to end the line, and as I was going from left to right, my hand was blocking out the view. But as you can see, for the last 2 lines, I'm going the other way around and the lines become much straighter. And then write in each section within the diagonal. On the right page, I am keeping track of food I enjoyed, and it's either recipes that we've made or takeout we've eaten. Usually this is where I would have restaurants I've tried. And I really like the title. It's something that's a bit more tricky to do just because you have to be decent at hand lettering, but like everything, it takes practice. And then I fill in the top of the page with the brush side of the Tombow. Then I create my 2 sections. The first one, things we've made, and the second one, food that was made for us. I originally thought I would have 2/3 of the page for foods that we made ourselves, but I got carried away and And I forgot about that. This next spread really has been my favourite for the past, I would say, 3 months. It looks a bit more like a traditional journal. The left page is a glorified brain dump, where I used the same technique as the cover page to separate the writing area. The idea is that my writing should then overlap with the background that I've created with the Tombows. Again, the technique is really simple, and I think anyone who tries could achieve this, but the result is quite gratifying. On the right page, I make lines to write down things I'm grateful for. Not very good at being positive all the time, and these usually end up being things like, I'm glad I didn't die riding my bike today. But hey, that is something to be grateful for, is it not? The last few times I made this spread, I kept the lines on the right side always the same, and I only changed the background for the left side. And the title has also remained the exact same for the 4 last time I've made it. I just absolutely love this spread. This next page is a brand new layout which you probably won't have any use for, but I'm starting a 9-week program in January, and I thought it would be a good idea to check in every week and write my thoughts about how it's going. And the right side is an actual brain dump for the next month. I'll use this space to write down anything about the next month. It could be spread ideas, goals or intentions I want to set, tasks, anything that wouldn't fit in my future log, which I usually use to log in things that are several months in the future and not just for the next month, except for events and appointments. The last thing I wanted to share is my weekly spread. For this week it's extended to 10 days because the first 3 days of the month are a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. I like my weekly spreads to be very simple because I need to be able to set up a new one in 3-minute time on a Sunday night. I also like to have as much space as possible, as I tend to write down anything and everything for each of the day. To make the circles, the trick is to keep a very, very light hand. I used a 0.1 fine liner, but then almost hovered above the page to keep the lines as thin as possible. So there you have it. In lieu of a final flip through, I opted for a slideshow so you can see the spreads in focus at least once. Let me know if you like this video by giving it a thumbs up, and tell me in the comments if your monthly setup is any different to mine. I hope some of the layouts and title styles I shared inspire you to try them, and if you do, please share them with me, as I'd love to see your take on it. Have the best 2021 you can have, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video.